Good morning. And welcome to Universalist Church, in which love is the Spirit. We are so glad you are here today. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or anywhere in the world. I'm Steve Leibin, one of your representatives of the Board of Trustees and an auction committee volunteer. And if you are a visitor, welcome, and we hope you'll sign our guest book or visit our webpage, www.westhartforduu.org, to learn more about our community. There, you can use the contact page to get onto our electronic mailing list. Our electronic communications are the best way for us to stay connected. We look forward to helping you become part of the Universalist Church community. This is a little bit of a mixed message, but since COVID transmission has bounced up again, we are strongly encouraging everyone to use masks again until this current swell diminishes. We have some that we can share if you need one. They're in the back or in the hallway. While the town of West Hartford has not implemented another mask mandate, there's nothing wrong with being extra cautious. Please remember that masks are required for unvaccinated people over 2 years old. So we encourage you to do what you're comfortable with. It's a challenging times. After worship, we'll follow fellowship and Fist Call all the way in the back and through Zoom. You can find the link for that in your weekly news or our Breeze calendar. If you aren't getting the weekly news, please sign up for it. And now I invite you to take a moment and make your mobile phones silent and turn off your email and put away your keyboards and settle in for worship.
If you happen to have a home chalice, please light it with us. We light this chalice with a flame that is newborn in this moment, but comes from the flame that danced and grew before it. We too have been new, just born, and we too have been those who came before, whether giving life, guidance, wisdom, or effort. In this flame, we are reminded that it is our task to make sure that the things we value continue on beyond us, for those who will need it when they too begin to dance. Our opening hymn is number 124 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or in spirit in the sanctuary or wherever you are as we sing together.
Let's join in speaking the words of our affirmation, our covenant. It is printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated.
Among the most accomplished and fabled tribes of Africa, no tribe was considered to have warriors more fearsome or more wise than the Maasai. It is perhaps surprising then to learn the traditional greeting that passed between Maasai warriors. Kasarian and Gera, one would always say to another. That means, and how are the children? It is still the traditional greeting among the Maasai, acknowledging the high value that the Maasai always place on their children's well-being. Even warriors with no children of their own would always give the traditional answer, all the children are well. Meaning, of course, that peace and safety prevail, that the priorities of protecting the young and the powerless are in place, that Maasai society has not forgotten its reason for being, its proper functions and responsibilities. All the children are well means that life is good. It means that the daily struggles for existence do not preclude proper caring for their young. I wonder how it might affect our consciousness of our own children's welfare if in our culture we took to greeting each other with this daily question, and how are the children? I wonder if we heard that question and passed it along to each other a dozen times a day, if it would begin to make a difference in the reality of how children are thought of or cared about in our own country or even in our own town. I wonder if every adult among us, parent or non-parent alike, felt an equal weight for the daily care and protection of all the children in the community, in our town, in our state, in our country. I wonder if we could all truly say without any hesitation, the children are well. Yes, all the children are well. What would that be like? Well, I can imagine it in our church. I can imagine our minister beginning every worship service by answering that question, and how are the children? But what if every town leader had to answer that question at the beginning of every meeting? And how are the children? Are they all well? What if every community leader did, or our chosen representatives in state and federal government? Wouldn't it be interesting to hear their answers?
We are grateful for all of the ways in which you support us and one another, in which you support our children and our congregation's ability to serve the kids who are part of this community and those who are beyond our walls too. As part of our service, we share our general offering each week with organizations that do work in the world that brings us ever closer to creating the beloved community. And so this month, we share our offering with our Fern Street Food Ministries Walk Against Hunger campaign. You can read more about it in the order of service, underneath where you'll see all the information about how our worship is going to work. There's a blurb there about the food ministry itself. In short, our food ministry offers 5 different programs, but none of them rely on the church for their funding. The support of volunteers, community partners, and donations are necessary to keep these programs going and to keep our community fed. The Walk Against Hunger is the biggest fundraiser of the year for our food ministry, and a portion of what comes in from that walk also goes to support our major partner in alleviating hunger in Connecticut, CT Foodshare. This month, our sharing goes even further than usual. So, to give electronically, please use the QR codes on your order of service or the links that you'll find on our website. You can also give here in the sanctuary, and our offering will now be gratefully received. May these gifts so generously given sustain the work that we do together, the life of this community, and the wider world of which we are certainly a part. Thank you. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit as we speak our congregational reading, number 649 in the gray hymnal. I will speak the words in Roman type, and you may respond with the words in italics. In a house which becomes a home, one hands down and another takes up the heritage of mind and heart, laughter and tears, musings and deeds.
Love, like a carefully loaded ship, crosses the gulf between the generations.
Therefore, we do not neglect the ceremonies of our passage. When we wed, when we die, and when we are blessed with a child.
When we depart and when we return, when we plant and when we harvest.
Let us bring up our children. It is not the place of some official to hand to them their heritage.
If others impart to our children our knowledge and ideals, they will lose all of us that is wordless and full of wonder.
Let us build memories in our children, lest they drag out joyless lives, lest they allow treasures to be lost because they have not been given the keys.
We live not by things, but by the meanings of things. It is needful to transmit the passwords from generation to generation.
Let's join in singing our doxology. Please be seated.
As we begin our time of prayer and meditation today, I have a few things to share with you on behalf of the community. First, Jim G. is in the hospital for shortness of breath. I know some of you already know that this has been happening. I know our communication networks within the congregation are pretty good. They are working on figuring out what's happening. Emails to Jim and support for Cindy are much appreciated. You can also send cards to them at home, and they will make their way to Jim, whether he's in the hospital or has moved back home, hopefully sooner rather than later. Another piece of news, one of our young adults, Sophie E., is in the hospital. She was injured in a hit and run last week. You might have heard about this in the news. Her given name is Michaela. She goes by Sophie here. She has some very serious injuries. She's going to require a number of surgeries and quite a few weeks in a rehab facility before she's back out into the world. So we are in conversation with her family and offering support there. The Women's Circle is going to help us out by gathering cards in a basket that is on the welcome table in the back hallway as you exit the sanctuary. So whether you know her or not, this would be a wonderful moment for our congregation to share some notes of hope for her family and for her in this tragedy. You can leave a card in the basket. They will be gathered up by the Women's Circle and given to our pastoral care minister, Joy Christie, who will take them to her. We also, of course, continue to pray for the people and the nation of Ukraine and all of those who feel threatened, frightened, concerned, and uncertain. There is enough hardship in this world without more to be added for any of us. And so in this moment, let us take a time in stillness and in prayer for comfort and for strength for those that we have named thus far and for those that we know who need our love and support as well. Please join me in a moment of stillness. And join me in a prayer for our child dedication today as well. We are blessed beyond measure by the children among us. The presence of people of all ages continues that blessing and the gift in this sanctuary. In one another, we meet the spirit of life, the brilliance of existence. In one another, we find paths and possibilities that offer a future worth living. Each person of every age is one more person who can change the world, change a life, offer kindness, bring beauty and balance and healing. So let us rejoice together in one another and in those we welcome into our midst. On this day of child dedication, let us all dedicate ourselves to making a better world for every child that comes into it. May each and every one of us know that we are held and loved within circles of family and friends within this congregation. May it be so. Amen. Although, as we know, the past couple of years have been a little weird, usually, most often, about twice a year, we dedicate the children who have come into this congregation, whether by joining it or by being born to us, and sometimes a few years after they've been around, too. Whether the kids are babies or teenagers, we celebrate and welcome all of those who have not yet come of age through this ceremony. And we offer up our promise to be alongside our children as they grow in their faith and in life. And I think it's important that we do this as a community, because to be dedicated in our faith is to be made part of our covenant. In other religious communities and in other traditions, children may be baptized or consecrated or dedicated to a particular God. As Unitarian Universalists, we know that we believe in many different ways of the universe working here, and so we don't dedicate our children to a particular form of divinity. Instead, we dedicate our children and ourselves to a life lived within our covenants, our promises regarding how we'll be with one another and how we will exist in the world. We know that our children will be guided by the wisdom and beliefs of their parents and their families, which is exactly as it should be. We also know that teaching children how to seek truth and understanding within a religious community requires a religious community. This isn't something that a parent or family does alone. It's something that we all do together, promising that we will all provide a community that will enrich and nurture children into a life that is the best life that we can imagine, filled with wonder and wisdom, filled with mercy and justice, with compassion and kindness and love.
Who here was dedicated in a UU church? This church? Couple, all right. Well, as Unitarian Universalists, we hold dear our history of religious freedom, the promise that we make to engage in and support one another in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We know that our children will hear our words, watch our actions, and learn our ways and values, and then grow, following their own paths, their own passions, their own reason and intuition. We dedicate our children into a way of being, not a certainty of believing. Being dedicated into the life of this church begins a path on which every member of a family, and I hope in which all of us, will grow in faith. Our tradition asks us to expand our religious understanding all the days of our lives, not just while we are young and not just if we are parents. All of us are part of raising the children within our community. We each have a part to play, whether it is teaching or greeting people, no matter their age, parenting or singing our children to their classes. Whether we dedicate one child or many, this time of celebration and commitment renews us all in our promises to one another and to all those children who will become a part of this congregation. This is how we keep our faith alive from generation to generation. Will the Burns and Strom families, today dedicating their children, please come forward?
So we begin the child dedication ceremony by me asking a question of you all, families. So you're welcome to turn around and look at me a little bit since I'm going to be talking to you. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and the answer is simple at the very end. If you will, you simply say, I will. So, will you as a family cherish and nourish your children in body, mind, and in spirit, giving freely of your own ideals and dreams, recognizing that they must develop on their own as they grow? If so, please say, I will. I will. Will you cultivate within your children a wonder for the earth and all its creatures, a spirit of kindness toward all people, so that they may grow into the fullness of life? If so, say, I will. All right, so the rose is a symbol of each child's unfolding life, and the water that it is dipped in is the water that we make holy and gather from our water communion at the start of each church year. It is made holy by our presence, our blessing, and our covenant. This water is the life-giving link that makes all of the earth bear fruit. All right, so let's begin with you, Jordan. Come on up. All right, can you tell me your full name?
My name is Jordan Alexander Strom.
So Jordan Alexander Strom, by this name you will be known here and in the world. May you wear your name in courage, in honor, and in peace. And may your life unfold like the beauty of this flower. Please place your hands out. A blessing for your mind, for your heart, and for your actions, how you live in the world. Lori, come on up. And she's going to talk to you, so you get to stay here and listen.
Jordan, my wishes are for you. First, stay true to yourself and always look for ways to make the world a better place by sharing your energy, your kindness, and your love. Always stay connected to your communities, this community, your family, your friends. And finally, hold the words of our affirmation in your heart as you navigate your path in life. And we are all here to support you. I love you.
I love you too.
Let me shake your hand. Yeah, that's yours. All right, you can step down. All right, how about you all come on up? Can you tell me your full name? Very good, thank you. So Fern Burns Orcutt. By this name you shall be called here and in the world too. May you wear your name in courage, in honor, and in peace. And may your life unfold with beauty like this flower. Can you put your hands out for me? Thank you. So we bless you in heart and head, and in the heart and in your actions. May you live with kindness and generosity for everyone, including yourself. This is yours.
Our hope is that you're always learning something new and making the world a place you want to live. Be proud of your strength and creativity and never let your voice be silenced. May you grow with kindness and compassion for yourself and others.
On behalf of the learning community, it is my pleasure to welcome your families officially into our faith development program. Families are the primary influence in our children's lives. Know that we are here to nourish and support you in your journeys as your whole family discovers and rediscovers what is true and meaningful for you. We will celebrate with you and mourn with you and laugh with you and cry with you. Through it all, we pledge this community will be at your side.
And so today, the entire congregation makes a promise to you and your family. This welcoming of you affirms their responsibility to be there to teach and nurture and encourage our young people.
Members of the Universalist Church, including our children and youth, please rise in body or spirit as we speak a litany of dedication to these children. I will say a line ending with, "We promise," and then you will respond with one simple phrase each time, led by Reverend Adam. We are here with you. People raise children all over the world in so many ways, but we know that children grow best when surrounded with love. So we promise.
We are here with you.
Children need wisdom and questions, protection and experience, boundaries and freedom. To our children, we promise.
We are here with you.
Parents and families need support and kindness, understanding and knowledge, strength and peace. Time to grow together and time to grow individually. To our parents and families, we promise.
We are here with you.
Teachers need someone to teach. Congregations need people to congregate. We all need each other to help us to be more than we can be alone. To one another, we promise.
We are here with you.
All of us, children, parents, families, teachers, all of us need one another to transform, thrive, and grow. So in love, we each promise
we are here with you.
You may be seated.
I have missed doing child dedications for so long. It is a joy to be able to do that today. And I'm glad to have so many of you kids here in the congregation, some of you who have been dedicated here and some who haven't. It's a part of community that I have missed so deeply in the past couple of years. To be here with everyone, to celebrate new lives, possibilities for the future. In this case, a couple of people I have gotten to know since I've been here and have looked forward to see grow and cannot wait to see who you become in the future too. In dedicating our children, we actually dedicate ourselves to. We dedicate ourselves to caring for all of those who are in our charge. As parents, as a community, we dedicate ourselves to our principles and our covenant and our values. We dedicate ourselves to kindness and to paying attention and to making sure that we treat everyone of every age in this congregation as a member, as a part of this community, realizing that it's not quite the same when you can't vote yet. You don't get the same ability to make decisions about how things are going to go around here. But we teach one another how to be adults, how to be full members of community by making sure that everyone is respected at every age. Before the child dedication ceremony, I check with our kids, or if they're too young to speak, with their families about how they want to be dedicated. Is it just a gesture with the rose, or does the rose actually touch each child? We get to make decisions about who we are and what happens to us in this place. And that is a way that we nurture one another too. As a congregation, we know that some of the children who have been dedicated here, we know them. We've seen them. Some of us know their stories and know that they have been turning into incredible people, doing remarkable things in the world. Not perfect people, of course, none of us are, but people who love, people who care, people who make change. Some of those children have come back to be a part of this community and to help it move forward, to help it grow. We have a wonderful place with wonderful people. And that is in part because we have lifted up our children, because we've invested ourselves in your care and in your learning. It's something that we all do together. No one of us does it by ourselves, or no two of us do it by ourselves. Just like with every other aspect of this congregation, it is everyone's responsibility to bring up our children, to help them learn the passwords, so that from generation to generation we continue and we grow, we learn, and we become. So, for you families who have dedicated your children today, and for all of you who are raising children in any way, may you seek to share with your children the wonder of life. Help them learn how to be good stewards of this creation that we are blessed to share. May you remind your children that each person has an ageless and wonderful spark of the holy inside them. And though we might understand what God is in different ways, though we might imagine what is sacred, what is holy in different ways, we know that every person is worthy of that great and unbounded love. We are all precious. We are all cherished. May you share with your children a sense of that greater love that holds us all. Because this is actually the beginning of faith. A sense of trust in our connections to one another and to the source of all life. And for as long as we can find that and hold that and remember that, each of us will do all we can to grow and thrive and help one another to do the same. It is a great blessing to dedicate children in this congregation. I am grateful that you chose this place to be your religious home and the place where your children will grow and learn. And I can't wait to see who you continue to become. You're pretty fantastic people already, and I am excited to see how you grow from here. And that is true for all of our kids, whether dedicated today or dedicated in days past, or perhaps in days yet to come. You have our love and our support. And we will verify that now by singing our closing hymn. It is number 323 in the gray hymnal, Break Not the Circle. Please rise in body or in spirit.
When people grow for
Let us speak together our benediction. It is in your order of service. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. And please be seated for our postscript. We will have a time for fellowship in Fisk Hall here after the worship, but do remember that for anybody who is new to the congregation or interested in membership, we will have a membership orientation happening today in the parlor after worship. So you can go grab a cup of coffee, although there may be coffee coming to that room. Please do join us if you are curious about the congregation. Thank you.